morning, guys and girls and everyone else. Life update. I am enjoying Toronto. So if you have seen my last video, I was hating it. Actually, I was hating it for the first week, but slowly the city starts growing on you. So today I'm going to tell you about 10 things you need to have as a new immigrant, whether you're a permanent resident or a student or a worker who's coming to Canada and who doesn't know what all you should apply for. These are all the documentations, important things one should have. Like, I was covering for this information across the internet and I found bits and pieces of it everywhere scattered around. So I thought to compile all of that information and make a video and make it easier for everyone else who's watching it and coming to Canada. Some of these things are in a particular order because you can't have the second one without the first, so I have put it in an order. So make sure that you get these things in the order I have told you, because otherwise you can't get, for example, if you don't have an address proof, you can't get a health card. So it's very important that you do it in the order that I have mentioned, and I hope it makes things easier for you when you come to Canada. So the first thing that I got when I landed in Toronto was a Presto card, or a public transport card basically, because obviously a person who is coming straight up to Canada as a new immigrant won't have a car, right? So you need a public transport card to travel on public transport and use the buses and stuff. So in Toronto or Ontario, you need a Presto card, which works on all kinds of different transportation systems across different cities. For example, Mississauga, Brampton, Whitby, or Scarborough, or Toronto TTC. And this is what is the first thing that I bought when I came here. You can get a Presto card from any Shoppers Drug Mart. It costs $6.50 plus taxes, and then you load up some money onto it. It's you just pay, I think, $3.5 per trip, and if you come back within 2 hours, you don't pay anything. So the $3.5 ticket is valid for 2 hours. Like, trust me, things get so easy if you have a public transport card. Second thing you need is a mobile plan or a SIM card. You need to be contactable, traceable. You need to have internet to search around for things. So the second thing that I got was a SIM card. There are plenty of different providers like Rogers, Fido, Freedom, Charter, Virgin Plus. I got Virgin Plus because I found their deal to be the best, but you can like search around and see which provider offers you the best deal and then get it. Mobile plans are expensive in Canada, whichever province you go to, but search around, compare the prices and see what offer is the best for you, like I did. And after you have your phone number, you're good to go and open a bank account. Make sure you have a mobile number, because they won't open a bank account without a mobile number. You have to have that. So that's why I said get a mobile number first. With bank accounts, there are a lot of different banks that you can open your account with. I got suggestions of Scotiabank, but as a personal experience, I don't like their services. It's a little complicated and they have got very low limits for newcomers. I would suggest to go around and search which bank offers you the best kind of interests on your savings account, and whoever has the best services. To open a bank account, it was very easy. I just walked into a Scotia bank. Sometimes you might need to make an appointment because they get very busy. The area I was in, it was pretty empty, so they just said that yeah, we can open your account right now. It took me an hour to open a bank account. They did all the formalities. It was smooth though, although it was just like pretty long. After a bank account in the same bank, you can also apply for a credit card, and it's really important to have a credit card in Canada because they give huge importance to your credit score, and the first step towards building a credit score is getting a credit card. So the reason why I opened an account with Scotiabank is because they offer credit cards to newcomers without any prior credit history, and it's very easy to get one, although the limits are very low, about $1,500 to $2,000 a month. But that's the easiest way, and it's $0 first year annual fee. I would again suggest to go around and ask around in different banks and see what offers they have for newcomers. Check TD Bank and CIBC or Bank of Montreal, and these are some banks that offer bank accounts and credit card plans. I would again not recommend Scotiabank. They have a very complicated app and their rewards are not that great as well. I will be switching very soon. But yes, credit card is your fourth step to as soon as you come to Canada. I think these 4 things you need to do on your first day. Number 5, secure a permanent accommodation. The reason why I have put securing a permanent accommodation in this list, because you need a proof of address for the next few things that are coming up in the list. Getting a permanent accommodation means you will sign a lease with the landlord, or you will have a bank statement with your address, or you will have your address proof stating your name and address somewhere. It is difficult to get an accommodation in Toronto and in Vancouver, or I don't know the situation about in Calgary, but in Toronto it took me a week to get an accommodation, but I have seen people who could not get it for months. I think I was lucky. But get an accommodation and get a lease paper signed for your next steps. If as soon as you get a permanent accommodation, or if you have a permanent accommodation already, make sure you have that address updated in your bank account details so that you can get like an address proof. And if you're applying as a couple, make sure that you have both of your names on the tenancy documents, because it can act as a proof of address for both of you guys. So the things that I needed to get an accommodation was my bank statement, my proof of income, my employment letter with my current Australian company. I did not give a credit score because I did not have one. That's what I told the landlord as well. And then I looked for apartments in Kijiji, Facebook Marketplace and Zillow. These are the 3 places I got most of the responses from, and I think this is where you can start your search as well. Once you have your proof of address, which will be your lease document or your bank statement, you can go and apply for a social insurance number or a SIN number. A SIN number can be applied online or in person at Service Ontario. I applied it online, and when I went to Service Ontario, they told me that I cannot apply for a SIN number without a proof of address. So she told me to get a proof of address first, and then I apply for the SIN number. And when I searched online, let me tell you what they ask for. So to apply for SIN number, you need to submit original copies in mail or digital copies online, and you need to have a primary identity document. So for permanent residents, you need to have the either a permanent resident card or a confirmation of permanent residency document, which is the COPR, which is issued to every permanent resident there when they're coming to Canada. Or if you're a temporary resident, you can submit your work permit or your study permit, whichever you have. Apart from that, you also need to have a secondary document, which is another document that confirms your identity, which will be your passport, for me at least. Next up, you need a proof of address. So according to CIC website, you need to have a proof of address that is issued by either a government, a company, an institution, an organization, a landlord, or an employer, and should be a document or attestation letter signed by the issuer. It must contain your name, your that appears on your primary document, and your address, and it should match the address you're uploading onto the SIN portal when you're applying it. So basically you need to have the COPR, the passport, and a proof of address to apply for SIN. I applied for it online. It was like just took 5-10 minutes, and I got the SIN number within a week. It was super duper easy. It did not cost me anything, and if you want, you can go and apply for it in Service Ontario as well. You all know that Canada provides free healthcare to everyone, whether you are permanent or a temporary resident. So as a permanent resident, I applied for a health card after I got my proof of address.
So I'm sitting at Service Ontario. If you need your health card, you have to come here and you have to have 3 things: your residential proof, your identity proof, and your COPR or residency document. So whenever you have these 3, you have to come here and apply for the health card in person. You can't do it online. You just have to fill up the form, and
the whole thing just took about like 10-15 minutes. Like, it was not busy. The whole Service Ontario office was empty. We got attended in a minute and then filled up the form and submitted everything. And they gave us like a temporary card number right then and there, and the health coverage starts from right now. We can use the number for whatever reasons we need, and the actual card will be mailed out to our address. And yep, that's it. Number 8 is driver's license or photo card. Well, you can do this simultaneously with the OHIP card, health card, or SIN number. But for the driver's license or photo card, you need proof of identity, proof of residency, and proof of address. Yes, you need all three things. So the person at Service Ontario told me that if I plan to apply for a driver's license eventually, I should not apply for a photo card, because once I get the driver's license, I will need to surrender the photo card. Or if I have a driver's license and I want to apply for a photo card, I will have to surrender the driver's license, because I can't have both. So remember this before you apply for a photo card. And if you don't plan to drive here, definitely go and apply for the photo card. So as a new driver, because I'm a new driver, I haven't driven before, I have never held a license before, I need to apply for a drive test, which is the knowledge test and the eye test. And once I pass my eye and knowledge test, I get a G1 license. So on G1, there are 3 different stages. After you finish your written test, you get a G1. After I think a year of driving experience, you can appear for the G1 test, which is the G1 exit test. Once you pass that, you get a G2 license. You drive for another year on G2, you pass the test, and then you appear and you have a G license, which is the full license. But what if you have previous driving history? If you hold a license from another country, for example India, Pakistan, Australia, Malaysia, Indonesia, anywhere else, you need to bring a driving extract from your consulate. Once you have the driving extract, you appear for the drive test and you send G2 tests. And you appear straight up for the G test, which is the full license test. It also depends on how many years of experience you have. They will tell you all about that at the Service Ontario the center. Putting the link down below for all the information about driver's license. But yes, if you have prior knowledge, you can skip these tests and appear for the full test and get the full license. And yes, it is very advisable to have a license, because that's your proof of identity. You don't need to carry your passport everywhere. Okay, so the next 2 things are pretty optional. Number 9 is changing the address on your PR card. So this is on a case-by-case basis and applicable only if you don't have a permanent address when you land in Canada. So for example, for me, I was staying in an Airbnb when I landed in Canada, so I did not give my permanent address to the immigration officer at the airport. If you have a permanent address, or if you know people who are staying here, if you have friends, you give out their address and the PR card gets delivered to their place. When I got my permanent address over here, I called up IRCC and I told them that, see, this is my permanent address, I want to change it. So it was hard to get through to their call center, because it's always busy. I think I tried about 30 times. I was on hold for almost more than an hour, I think 1 hour 15 minutes or something. But be persistent, make sure you have time early in the morning and keep on trying and call them, and make sure you change your address once you have a permanent one, because you don't want your permanent PR card to be delivered somewhere else. And the last thing, which is very optional, if you are landing here in September or October, or even like in later months, in the winter months, make sure you buy winter gear as soon as you come here. End of September or mid of September is the right time to start looking for it, because that's when the fall collection starts coming in. But if you're here during the winter months, make sure you get at least 1 jacket, and as soon as you come here, buy a winter jacket. My next video will be all about how to find winter jackets or winter gear, what all you need, and everything else about winter shopping, because it is a thing and it is a task. It is a technical task, trust me. I have like a whole video coming up about winter shopping in Canada, but if you are here during these months and if winter's coming soon, you need to have like a good heavy jacket which is going to like survive in -20, -30 degrees, because it does get cold in Toronto. It will survive. I did not buy Canada Goose, FYI. I have a lot of stuff coming up for winter shopping in my next video, and I will tell you all about it. But for now, these were the 10 things that are going to make your transition to Canada easier. I hope you liked the video, and if you did find it useful, do subscribe to it, and hit the like button. And if you have any other questions about this, all of these things I mention it in the comment box. I will try and help you out and give out as much information as I can. And I hope your move is as smooth as mine. See ya. I'll see you in my next video.